So time has come where my roommate is moving out. When I first got into SU, um, they emailed me and they told me who my roommate would be. They always give you the name and the email address, but of course everybody has a Facebook, so it's not like people really use email anymore. So I looked him up on Facebook, and he seemed like a pretty cool guy. And we were like, yeah, we're gonna party and we're gonna whatever, do this, do that, and we're both pretty excited. And I have a very common last name where my dad is from Senegal, and he pretty much knew how to pronounce it. It's a white dude from Cali, and at the time he was in Europe or something, so I was like, okay, he probably has a little money, whatever. But Syracuse is actually one of the top schools that has one of the biggest wealth gaps, meaning that there's very wealthy people and very poor people, and not very middle class people. Because the wealthy people, they can afford to pay this $52,000 a year tuition, and the very poor people, they get all the financial aid from the government because they qualify for it. And the middle people, it's hard for them to come up with 52 grand, when they're only given like 20 grand from the government or whatever, and maybe a couple thousand in scholarships or whatever. So it's very hard for that to happen. In Syracuse, they do, well, other schools, they do research and they rank schools, and Syracuse is kind of at the top of the list of schools like that, along with, I imagine, a lot of Ivy League schools, and I know TCU was one of them. It's hard for me to remember. We got to school, and I remember one night we went out and we went to a black party. It was all the New Yorkers out here, they love dance hall or whatever. So we had a couple of beers and we were gonna go out, and we were walking to the party, and he was kind of talking about how black girls shake it better than white girls, and etc. And we ended up just kind of talking more about race, and he was it kind of led to racial equality in this country. And I was trying to tell him, like, no, stuff isn't equal. And he was like, well, like, I want to do sports management, and Ski, I think that you and I just have the same shot, but there is still racism. And I'm like, see, that you already fucked up, because with racism comes discrimination. It's a contradiction to say otherwise. You can't have one without the other, especially when you have a group of people like white people who have the power and the means and the resources to keep another race down and to totally disenfranchise them. And the thing was that I was like, like, there's studies about this shit. There's studies in white textbooks. There's studies that white schools have done. Stanford Business School, Penn State, even Syracuse have done research projects about how identical resumes aren't truly identical, because ones with black sounding names, the Quan, and the Deshaun, and the Sean, and the Shaniqua, and all the ridiculous names that black people give their children. It's like, black people, stop that. You're not giving your children a chance. Black people hurt themselves. You can't blame everything on the white man, because a lot of the times our own ignorance is our poison. It's not just them, it's a lot of our bullshit, like naming our kids those ridiculous ass ghetto ass names. But anyway, and he just really didn't want to believe it. I'm like, and he was like, no, that's not true. But of course, I didn't have like a textbook with me or my laptop with me walking to a party, so I could break this shit down. And like, look, boy, I know white people love to think that everything's okay. That's just their nature. Like when the Great Depression was going on, they'd tell white people, hey, everything's okay, and then they start spending money again because they think it's okay. It's like with the recession that was in 08, 09, you tell the people that hey, we're making a little progress in the economy, and people, they like to lift their morales, and white people are very used to that because they're the only ones who are not used to excess levels of stress. They don't know how to deal with, issues and disasters as well as dark people can, because we have been shafted throughout history. We are, and especially in this country, we're so used to, bad circumstances. Like, black is struggle and struggle is black. So, when the stock market crashed, did black people give a fuck? Hell no. Black people was worried about, whatever, getting lynched and, things like that. We was worried about where we was going to eat. Black people weren't on trading with the stock market. We had whatever, like Wall Street and stuff like that, but we weren't involved with the white Wall Street because we weren't allowed to be. So when things like that happen, it doesn't really affect us. And when disaster strikes, then black people are more resilient because just throughout history we have that. Black people are used to double-digit employment. That's not nothing new to us. When the employment rate went up, black people was like, okay, we've been struggling. It's been hard to find jobs. The black unemployment rate is always 2 to 2.5 times what the national average is. So if it's 9% national, then it's going to be 18%, 19. It's going to be somewhere in that range. But from there, we're kind of arguing, kind of debating. I'm like, yo, me and Al Sharpton didn't pull this shit out our ass to make it look like black people were struggling. They like to think that everything is okay, so they pull on the whole Obama thing. Things are equal now. I had the white girl who said the jungle fever thing. She hit me with that. You don't think it's equal? We have a black president. She hit me with that. So even her roommate, who was trying to stick up for her, had to jump on her like, nah. It's not just white people who are like this. It's also black people. There's a sister that goes to my school, and she was talking about how in 2050 whites will no longer be the majority in our country, which is fact. The projected census or whatever. I'd known about that study, several weeks before she had, because in my business class we discussed that. And actually, the hilarious thing was that in my big lecture of like 200 students, there's like 4 black people in there. Yeah, I know. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking going to the school. All these white people, they start shifting around and like kind of fidgeting when the lady said that they weren't going to be the majority anymore. That was hilarious. I wish I had that on tape for you guys to see. The thing is that for her to say that whole no excuses thing, like, the whole Obama situation goes, is that it doesn't matter how many black people there are if we are not being productive. The thing is, for one, black people are the slowest rising minority group in America. The Asians are spiking. They're gonna double from 2000 to 2050. Their percentages is gonna double. Mexicans are growing out the ass exponentially, and all of these white people, they give us these statistics for black people having kids out of wedlock and all our teen pregnancies, and yet somehow they don't project our population percentage for the entire United States to rise above 16% when it's at 13% now. It makes no sense to me. The fact that black people will still be a very small percentage of minorities and even a smaller percentage of the US population, in addition to the fact that there is no coalition between Mexicans and whatever people of Latin origin and Asian and Native Americans and black people. There is no alliance there. We do not band together. We do not have a network. We do not band together to fight whitey or nothing. There ain't no shit like that. It's, if anything, there's a rift between us. My Ethiopian prom date, her parents didn't even want to come to take pictures of us at prom together because I'm not Ethiopian or white. So it's really okay for them to date white boys, but they look down on us so badly because of our image in the media, our image just worldwide. That's true racism, when you have the power and the resources to control the way that the whole world looks at a particular group of people. That is true racism, when you can make laws, when you can control politics, when you control the media. Multi-ethnic destruction in America. Professor Griff, Public Enemy. From that day on with my roommate, things were done. There's no chance of us being friends, and I was cool with that. So we kind of, it was more high and by. We have a split double, so there's a big wall down our room, so it's pretty much like I have my own room. But it's gonna take a lot more than black people popping out illegitimate children for us to make strides in this country. The great thing about going to this school is that there's a lot of black people who are making power moves, and that's wonderful because I meet some incredible brothers and sisters, man, with the high GPAs and some engineers and some pre-med majors, and it's beautiful. And a lot of times I do find people who are on the same tip as me. You scratch my back and I'm gonna scratch your back, because we gotta watch out for each other, because there's only 3 black people in this class or whatever. So hit me up and make sure I did that homework. I'm not gonna really hold each other's hands, but we kind of gotta look out for each other. We gotta make sure that that when we put on that cap and gown, he's gonna be right beside me. Black people can't pretend that our community ship isn't sinking right now. We are in crisis mode. I repeat, we are in crisis mode. And the thing is that there's so many niggas and bitches out here that it's hard for us to be productive as a unit. And black people cannot, people like me who are on this path to success cannot just go like, okay, I'm gonna move to this white neighborhood and I'll be good and drive my Mercedes Benz, because then we won't be helping our communities out at all. Not whatsoever. I care about my people. I want to help my people. That's why I'm on here, speaking and talking about shit. And I am practicing what I preach. And 2 of my black friends, we're just freshmen now, but already 2 of the guys I've connected with were both information technology majors, and we're gonna compete. And I'm a double major. I actually double with entrepreneurship and marketing. We are gonna compete in the Panache competition in a year or 2. This is it's a huge big deal for it's mostly juniors and seniors and grad students that compete in it. But basically, you present your business proposition, and at the end, the winner gets 25 grand to start their own business. So, doing what the civil rights generation should have been doing, which is, okay, fight for your equality, that's all good, but at the same time, they weren't working on building their own shit. The problem with the whole begging, the white man to be a part of his society is that they finally let us do that, but we had no resources to do anything. Look around in your communities now. Who owns the corner stores? You got anything but black people on the corner stores. Who we have teaching our black children? Who do we have teaching our black children history? We believe that the white man could ever honor any of his treaties when white people have never honored their word. Never. To the Native Americans, to the Asian people, to the black man, never. So now, look, they control the government, control politics completely, they control the media completely, they control the education system completely. They rule this country, and black people have such a small say, and part of the reason is that because we have nothing. We are not a producer race, we are a consumer race. We don't own the weave industry, we don't own the grills industry, we don't own rims, we don't own any basketball teams. But that's it, I just had some thoughts to drop, and I've been swamped lately, so I haven't been able to do too many videos. I've been working on this project with one of my white friends from high school. He goes to Stanford, and we had thought of this master plan to try to break down some of the racial barriers at my school. It was very diverse, but at the same time, all the AP and honors classes were all white. So when you're in class with people, you make friends. So if the black people aren't in class, and they can't make friends, so the social divide is created by the achievement gap, and the achievement gap is also created by the racial and social divide. But I'm out. Peace.